Welcome. It's been a little bit, but I did say that I'd be back to make a video on making or cleaning the carbs on the ZX7. So filming looks a little bit different because I'm on a GoPro. First time I ever had a GoPro Hero 7. So hopefully it looks pretty decent. Real quick, let me go over. This is my 07 ZX10. It won't ever become a ZX10 because I am going to rob the forks rim, swing arm rim to put on my ZX7 1991, kind of like this one. This one has a 07 ZX10 front end and swing arm. Milo's in Slovakia makes a kit back there. I'm not going to open it up just because it's a whole lot of pieces. Makes a kit basically to where you can put on the front forks and spaces for the rear end. So basically it loses, I don't know, 60, 70 pounds off of the motorcycle. So let's dig into this thing. First things first, if yours is factory, you have a little key slot here. You can take this back seat off. But mine, I got to take off the front seat, then the back seat. All right. So you got your seats off. I'm gonna put mine over here, on top of my shelf. Right here on top of my shelf. Expensive shelf, I'll tell you what. All right. We're here. You can disconnect the battery if you like, but I mean the carburetors, it doesn't have anything to do with battery. So we're going to, I hate to do this, take off these side panels on both sides just because it's easiest. You can get away with just taking off these and it will flex enough to slide the tank off. But there's a possibility you may break these. And then once obviously the mounting tabs are broken, either you plastic weld or you throw them away and buy some new ones. So I'm gonna get these off. I'm going to find a Allen, not really Allen, it's a hex head with these cheap aluminum Chinese bolts that I got. I'm gonna take off all these, the Phillips head. You know what? I forgot I gotta take these off. I'm just gonna take off this bolt and hope for the best, okay? Be right back. And the cool thing, I almost shot the GoPro. I'm holding it with my mouth, just a little GoPro mount. Not really mouth mount, just literally the thing that attaches to the GoPro. The cool thing about not being a famous YouTuber yet is I can listen to copyrighted music. And I am an old country guy. I'm not that old. I'm 26, but I like some old country music. Let's get these off. So next, tank bolts, 2 10s. You should have 2 10s up here, but I'm lazy. I don't put the other 10 in. Gotta get a extension. All right. I'll pull these out. Luckily, I have a factory. It's all stock. I don't know, toolkit, tool holder, storage compartment area. So I put all my bolts in there so I don't lose them. You really should, if you haven't done this before, you really should get a Ziploc bag like I have here and put rear tank bolts, or tank bolts period if you think you can remember where they go. If not, you know, rear tank bolts, front tank bolts, right on there, and put it to the side so you don't lose them. So then obviously you're gonna want to turn your gas off so you don't. Whenever you pull the fuel line off, you don't spill fuel everywhere. You're gonna spill fuel just a little bit if you haven't ran it dry or ran it enough to empty the line out. But I have a little bit of fuel in there. She's probably 3/4 way full. You should really do this while it's about empty because the tank's gonna be a little bit lighter. But I didn't, so we're gonna hope for the best on this one. I know I can get the tank off. I know it's gonna be a little heavy, but it's not that big of a deal. It's got dents in it, so I'm not really worried about how scratched up it gets on, under here. Obviously, you're not even gonna be able to see it, but I'm probably gonna lean that tank back on top of this, and that's how I'm gonna be able to get to the fuel line from up under. So here we go. Psych! We're going to get an 8mm, which is here. Around here. It's best. I keep forgetting to take off these two 8mm, take off this whole tank mount. Psych again, the tins. All right, so this bike was built by my dad. He sold it to me, sort of, kind of. We traded, and I sold it a long time ago, and I got it back. So should have never sold it in the first place, but it basically lasted about 2 years on a different ownership, and they trashed it. You can tell it's destroyed here. The paint is gone. I mean, my dad spent 2 years putting this thing together as a Scott Russell or Doug Chandler replica. That guy over there. Ridiculous. I should have never sold it. I keep kicking myself in the butt just because looking at it, hurts me deep down, knowing that it sat outside for a couple of months, and really it was a work of art at the time that my dad got done. So that is the fuel line. I am going to take it off. In 1 second. My hose clamps are a socket because they're pretty tight. I need to make sure that it doesn't lose any fuel. 1 second. I'm looking for a hose clamp that matches the one that I have there, so I can match the bolt head that's on it. Guess it really doesn't matter. 1 second. This is ridiculous. All right, I apologize for how long that took. That was ridiculous. If you have a nice factory tank, no dents, no scratches, I'm sure you want to be much more careful. You know, there's a little bit of scratches back here, but like I said, there's dents everywhere else. So I'm going to eventually be painting this, the actual ZX10 color, that green, because I like that green much better than this green. There actually is a difference. A little bit of oil, possibly gas. I'm not 100% sure, but more than likely gas. Let's get this back in here so it closes. Next, you're going to want to take off your airbox, 10mm all the way around, if you have a factory airbox. I'm going to take off this extension because, well, really it's not needed. All right. And I'm going to try to edit this video. I understand that it's kind of a long video and I missed one. A lot of shaking, a lot of moving, a lot of kind of long pauses that most people who watch YouTube aren't used to because everybody can edit and knows how to edit. Well, unfortunately, this is my first YouTube video. Or no, sorry, first GoPro video. I gotta turn this up. It's a good song. So, airbox open, inlets, air filter. You can leave the air filter in. There's no sense to take that out because they're just 3 8mm bolts. Take this tin off, put it over here along with the extension. Actually, you need this extension. Done in the old school. If you want to learn a lesson or two, listen to some old country. They'll teach you one. That's not an 8mm. That is a 7. I skipped one. And if it's all factory, you should have those little, I don't know what they're called, cups with the washer underneath. I don't know why Kawasaki did that, because really the cup acts kind of like a washer. I'm going to put these back here just because I know where they go. This is definitely not my first time taking apart this ZX7, because when I got it back, it needed everything done to it. Valve adjustment, carb clean, literally everything. All right, got them off, and it literally pops off. Well, I'll say that. I don't want to take this off. I forgot about these air intakes right here. I'm going to try to get this off without though taking this off. 1 second. Aha! Got it off. So, kind of a good comparison. So, ZX7 air intake comes in through the front. If you have one, then you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, I guess I'm going to show you anyways. So air intake flows through the frame right here into the air box, and it's kind of like a ram air induction. It helps out a lot with the higher RPM, higher speed, getting air into the carb, more fuel, more power. ZX10, ZX6, newer one, 0607, goes through the frame right here. Goes straight through the frame, straight in. Obviously, it connects to the airbox. ZX9, B model, up here, straight in. This is actually ram air. If you don't have, there's some tubes that connect to the top of the carburetor. that equalize the air. If you don't have those, it doesn't run out at all. And the old school ZX7, these are the ram air tubes. Straight through the top of the cowl, in here, through the tank, to the air box. All right. Talking to y'all, I missed my pretty good song. Unfortunately, it's all right. From here, so yours is gonna look a little different. You have boots that go in. If they're completely factory, you'll have boots like this. So I have a coil on plug conversion. These are from a GSR 750. I need to look into it just a little bit more because, so the harness is perfect, but the coils, I'm not sure if they're bad or they're getting bad. But I have a hot start issue. I have adjusted my valves. Most people use the X6 coils. I've tried those. They are here. They're in here somewhere. There we go. These, they didn't work. They're the wrong ohm. So the factory coils, I believe they're 3 ohm, I think, when you ohm them out. And these are close to them. So the factory wouldn't spark when it needed to. Sorry, the factory, the ZX6. So the guy who bought the harness from said tried, I think 0607 GSXR 750. I tried and actually worked perfect, but hot start is an issue. When it's hot, you kill it at a gas station to get some gas. Try to start it back up. If you've been riding for about an hour or two, it really struggles. You almost gotta let it cool down a little bit, 10-15 minutes to start back up. It's kind of annoying. So next, I'm gonna pause it on this next part because it's kind of a lot. I'm going to be taking off the 2 Phillips head bolts in the back of this, loosening up the throttle cables, the pull and return, because I need to pull these off of here completely. I'm going to take off this just to be able to get to the cables. Those are off. There are 4 Phillips head bolts on the back of these that connect to the engine, the boots that hold them on. Once those are disconnected, or sorry, not disconnected, loosened, you can pull these carburetors completely off. Remember, if you have ran this, say this is the same day you rode it the same day you cleaning the carbs, there is fuel in the bowls. 4 bowls, I'm gonna say they hold a quarter of a gallon altogether. They're ridiculous. You pour it out and you're like, when is this gonna stop? But I'm gonna get that off and then I'm gonna come back to you once I have those carbs over here on the bench. All right, we're back. So I have the airbox off. Throttle cables are disconnected. I just wanted to show you really how much fuel is in the carburetors. I'm going to disconnect these 2 lines. There's going to be a little bit of fuel that drips out. Well, pours out a little bit. So, but it's not going to be all of it. So, one second. All right, grab the disconnect the choke cable. I mean, that really is a lot. I mean, that might be a quarter gallon. There is still something in there, but that's at least an 1/8 gallon. I mean, at least 16th, maybe. I don't know. It's a lot. Okay, it's just too much. So now the whole garage smells like fuel, of course. Hey, looks like it was leaking. Maybe some old fuel back in here. I need to look into that. The engine's a little dirty. Goodness gracious. Sorry, a little carried away. Dirty engine annoys me. Okay, carburetors are off. Let me get this lid on, because man, does that stink in here. Of course, this is in Nicole's garage. Just put that down there. Let's forget we even seen it. If you don't want to do the method I just did about draining the gas, so obviously every carburetor has these. This is the drain. Connect a little hose to each one of these, and when you crack this little Allen, the gas will come out. Obviously out of here. See, look, it's literally still draining fuel. I didn't get it all out, obviously. So I guess let's get this thing out. Put some more fuel in here. Just because if I leave this overnight, literally the whole house will smell like fuel. Ridiculous. And I'm not running the, 116 where I'm like, you know what, wife, you go ahead and you deal with that smell, because I like the smell of race fuel, but this is that pump 93 and she don't always smell the best. I'm gonna close it up. Let's dispose of that tomorrow. Alright. If you're working on a wood bench, it's best to get an old cardboard box and slap that up there, because at least if anything does get onto the wood, it's really going to be, or if anything leaks out of your carburetor, it's going to get onto the cardboard. Not really soak completely through to the wood. This is old wood with, I don't know why I even did it. This is water-based polyurethane. It really should be oil-based, or maybe not even polyurethane at all. I'm going to take apart one carburetor and basically end the video there, because taking apart one, top and bottom, will show you the exact same method for all three. You'll just have to repeat them. You have a air-fuel mixture bowl, the CV cap, I really don't know. Top of the carburetor, when you pull this off, there is a rubber diaphragm and a slide that looks like this, just not aluminum, and it's not folded up like this. The P model, 96 through 03, is plastic slide. The 91 through 05, or 91 through 95 is aluminum. So you're gonna pull it out. It's gonna look like this. You have a needle through this little hole right here. You have a spring right here, so make sure when you pull the cap off, be careful, because there is a spring. But I'm gonna get to taking this off, and I'm gonna show you what is inside as soon as I find this thing. Hopefully, let me adjust this a little bit. Hopefully you can see. I'm using an impact because I know that these bolts are, not too tight, but you really should use a regular screwdriver. Bowl, pretty clean. Not going to say that all the bowls are going to be this clean, but there's a possibility. I'm basically taking this apart because content, kind of, sort of. There's not a whole lot of videos on the ZX7. There's a couple of them out there I have seen, but not a whole bunch. Not really in-depth maintenance, because, well, everybody has a new ZX10 or a ZX6 or R6 or any other 6 in the book. But nobody really wants to work on the old bikes because, oh, they're slow. They're not the fastest motorcycle in production right now. But you know what? I like them because you can work on them. So let me get a Phillips head. Sorry, flathead. A decent one, because that's too long. Flathead. God, that is just too long. We're gonna give this a shot. To pop these main jets out. These are brass, so be careful. If these get stripped out, you can get a pair of pliers and take them out, but you'll never be able to get them back in tight. I'm gonna put the main jet over here. What I like to do is when I'm taking the carburetors apart, if I'm gonna do all 4 at one time, which I'm going to, just not on video, flip all the bowls like this. Put every bit of jets, parts, anything you take out of this carburetor in this bowl, because you know this bowl goes to here. All these will have to go into here. If you mix them all together, you'll never be able to get them right, because each main jet, not these 2 main jets are the same, these 2 main jets are the same. So I guess you could figure it out if you wanted to, but just it's easiest if you just leave all the main jets, every bolt, screw, nut, whatever you want to call them, in one bowl. I like to shake the floats, because if you shake them, you hear anything inside, usually that means they are damaged. So obviously there'll be something inside fuel wise. If they hold fuel, they'll go down. Obviously, I'm sorry, it'll go up. So because it has fuel inside of it, your motorcycle will flood. So if it floods, your bike is not going to run. I'm going to leave this in there because that is a BITCH to get out, and I'm just not going to do it. There is a pilot jet I will be getting out. I'm not sure if this will get it out or not. Oh, it will. Pilot jet inside of a ZX7. Same as ZX9 B model. These carburetors are almost identical. The 91 through 95 are identical to the B model ZX9. So if you're watching this and you have a ZX9, you can basically follow this and it'll be identical. Air mixture fuel, air mixture screw. What I like to do is screw them in first, count them while you're turning it. So you're going to have, I have this little screwdriver right here, this little flathead. I like to get a Sharpie and color one side because I can count how many turns they are, because obviously these have to be exactly the same. These should be 2.5 turns out, and that's just factory. I know these jets aren't factory because I put them in myself. It has a factory pro jet kit in it because I have a full exhaust. I have a K&N air filter, +4 ignition rotor advance, or +4 ignition advance for the rotor. So I know these aren't factory, but it is a factory 2.5 turn out, and it's usually good for most. I've never down tuned this, so it could be wrong, but it works for me. One, two. Oh, okay. There are 2 turns out. This one's 2 turns out. So these have a lot of, pilot jets have a bunch of components. You've got the pilot jet itself, you have a spring, you have a washer, you have a rubber O-ring. So if you dump this out, like I'm fixing to, look at what falls out. As of right now, just my pilot jet fell out. I'm gonna put that in there. I'm going to grab my, well, I was going to grab my little magnet. It is not there. So what I'm going to do is get this. Get my magnet. I'm going to attach it right here. Leave it on there for just, it really doesn't matter how long, you're not going to hurt it. But I'm going to leave it on there for a couple seconds. This will transfer the magnetic properties to the screwdriver. I didn't get long enough. Help! Help! Adult! I need an adult. Got it. Okay, so just the spring fell out. Like I said, there's a spring, there's a washer. Oh my goodness. I'm not sure or know for a fact you can't see that. but it looks to be like the washer has pushed through the O-ring. Well, I wonder she wasn't running too hot. I come over here. Not everybody's gonna have one of these, but luckily I do. Little pick. Yeah. Washer O-ring. The O-ring goes first, then the washer. The O-ring should not be first. And it obviously came out first, so that means it was first, unfortunately. Okay. I'm going to unscrew this. This is the choke. No, sorry. This is the idle screw, basically. Okay, so that's that. All right, we are back. Sorry, a little cold snack. I had to get rid of it. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4 Phillips heads. This cap's gonna come off. Cap comes off. Okay, spring. See the spring? Okay, don't lose it. So the O-ring come off of the front of the carburetor. Okay, now I put my finger in there and pulls the whole thing out. Don't lose this either. Okay. Needle. Okay, I did not use any spacers. All right. I like to flip this upside down like this. Upside down. Boom. Right there. This is your needle. There's notches. Mine was, I want to say, a little rich. So I'm going to take this clip. I'm going to move it up one. Hopefully this will, it won't lean it out at idle because this is not really the idle circuit. The pilot jet and the air fuel mixture is has a lot to do with the idle mixture. Lean or rich through there. So I'm going to take this off. I'm going to slide it up one because hopefully at wide open throttle, mid throttle, it runs a little bit better. It runs great at wide open throttle, but mid throttle, it kind of has a hiccup every so often. You just kind of cruise and you can hear it in the engine. It's not a perfect running motor like it should be. Not like fuel injections where, you know, somebody gets in there and types a few numbers, letters, alphabet, and gets it running perfectly. So, if you're going to be fully cleaning it, you're going to make sure this is clean. This little hole right here has to do with the choke circuit. So this little lever right here, pull open like this. You're opening this little hole. You're going to get some carburetor cleaner and spray it in there. I'm in America. If you have a Walmart, I like using theirs because, for one, it's $1.97, and I haven't found any stronger carburetor cleaner than this. I mean, this stuff will, I mean, that'll wake your dead grandmother up. I promise you one thing. That'll do it. So I like to spray in every cavity there is. So main jet hole, pilot jet hole, spray it in there. These two holes on the side, I don't think they go in anything. I spray them anyways, but literally every time I spray it, it just comes back at me. So it makes me assume that there's nothing there. Now, you know what happens when you assume. Main jet hole, pilot jet hole. This hole, no idea. Spray in there anyways. This is where your needle jet goes. This is where the fuel comes in. Fuel comes out into the bowl, fills up, needle jet stops it. Spraying everywhere. You're going to want to spray in here. That's why I took out the O-ring and the washer that come out of that air fuel mixture screw, because when you spray this in here, it shrinks rubber, and it will shrink that O-ring, and you will lose it if you don't have it while you... Hello. Yeah. That's awesome.
Can I go?
No, you have to go inside. It's too late. It's almost night time, okay? Sorry, 4-year-old daughter. Get back from church. If you don't have that in here, it will not run right. It will not. It will suck air, and sucking air where the air fuel mixture screw is at, not good. I like to flip on its back. There is a hole here. Let me turn it on. Okay, you can kind of see there's a hole here. There's a hole here. I like to spray in both of those. I like to flip it over. No holes other than those, obviously. The top one here. You're gonna want to spray. Get the straw on. Spray it directly in there. You're gonna want to make sure you do that. Keep those on. Kind of keep these away. If these pop out, get them away from carburetor cleaner. These swell up like nobody's business, and they will not fit in there. It's quite ridiculous. So that is basically it on cleaning a carburetor for the ZX7s, and you could say for the B model ZX9. I'm not gonna say for Yamaha because I had an FZR 1000, and those carburetors are 100% different. I can't really speak for. Well, actually, I had a 1992 GXR 750, almost the same. Main jet, pilot jet, they're a little different orientation. The floats look a little different, but it's the same concept. If you can watch this video, you can, well, if you watch this video and you follow the directions loosely, you can literally clean an inline 4 any carburetor by yourself. You don't have to take it to a shop. That's where a lot of shops get you, is carburetor cleaning, maintenance. I mean, maintenance at a bike shop is quite ridiculous. That's why I try to do most of the stuff by myself. I have cleaned the carburetors by myself. I have adjusted the valves by myself. I have taken on this bike over here, I have taken the cylinder off. I've taken the head off. I have disassembled completely everything. This head over here, I have ported and polished. I have nipple porting here. I have exhaust porting on the other side. I wanted to do bigger valves, but I didn't. It's going to be for that ZX9 engine that's down there. That's going to go into my 1991 ZX7. Fits right in. Slight modification on the upper motor mount. Well, a whole lot of talking, not a whole lot of work, some good music. But I do believe that's it. If you've gotten this far, I sure do appreciate you watching my videos. I'm definitely not a professional by any means. I can work on these bikes because I have had, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 ZX7s. The ZX9 is identical to the ZX7s. Other than, of course, it's bigger displacement. A few bolts are a little different, but it's pretty much the same. So, like I said, I appreciate you watching this. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully somebody who has never done this before, can get into their motorcycle, clean their carburetors, and put it back on without any issue. Putting them back on. So obviously I haven't really cleaned these. I'm just taking it apart to show you. You're gonna reverse all the steps. Pilot jet, main jet. Put the carburetor bowl back on. Well, of course you get the float, but regardless. Other side, back on. The diaphragm, the cap, screws. Make sure you put the spring on there, and I have no idea what this is called. Put that on there though. Needle. You're gonna put this back on there. These are the Phillips head screws I'm talking about. They should be all, these two facing the left, these two facing the right. If they all face the same way, you're gonna have trouble getting to these two or these two, depending on which way they're facing. Once you have this off, kind of take a flashlight, inspect your valves. See if there's a whole lot of carbon buildup. If there's not a whole lot of carbon buildup, if they're white, you know, just depends. White means they got pretty hot. Carbon buildup means you probably run it too rich. So take a look at it. Adjust from there. I had the clean air mod. Your bike may have a big little solenoid here, kind of a solenoid over here. I've taken all those off because you don't have to pass emissions here in the USA. I'm in Texas. You really don't have to pass emissions here. I know you have to do in California the smog crap, but we're not here. We don't like California anyways. So, if you want to do the clean air mod, I guess I can kind of a little tangent on top of this carburetor cleaning video. You're going to want to link these two together, or if you're lucky enough to have caps, aftermarket caps that Muzzy made them for a little while. I know some newer manufacturers make them. Not really well-known manufacturers, but there are a couple of companies that make these little caps that don't have a little hole in the top. They just cap them off. This literally goes directly to the exhaust. They used to go to from here. They would connect to this little solenoid. The solenoid would connect to the top of the carburetors and kind of recirculate, kind of like an EGR valve in a vehicle, in a car. You really don't want that. You want clean air running from or coming from outside airbox into the carburetor into the engine. You're going to cap this off. You have to do some research for yourself, but you have to adjust the float height as well. They're kind of high to begin with. You're going to want to adjust them down. I believe it's 15 millimeters. I could be wrong. Do some research yourself, please. Do not take my word for word, because I don't. I can't remember off the top of my head. I have these stuff saved on my phone, but that's too much to go through. So adjust the float height. I don't really know the dynamic behind it, why you'd have to do that, but it does help. Put it all back together, and now you have no exhaust gas coming back through the carburetor. Your carburetor will stay clean longer. You won't have to worry about any kind of carbon getting into your intake, because it'll come through this little tube right here into the top of your carburetor. So you have, it'll just get just ridiculously dirty up there over time. Obviously, it's going to get dirty anyways, but not as fast. So, only other thing, if you want to do the coil, the coil on plug conversion, Arnaldo Richetti on Facebook. Let me see. I will look him up for y'all real quick. This fella right here. Oh, yeah, Arnaldo Richetti. Yeah, he made this for me. This is actually for the J model, but since they all wire up the same, except the routing is a little different on the wire. It just so happened to work for me to run the wire through here. I like it better because the J model coils are up here, the P model coils are down here. So he makes the coils. There's a couple of Facebook groups you can get on. Let me get them for you real quick. If you want to get on a couple of ZX7 groups. So there is ZX7 Owners Club, the Kawasaki ZXR 750, and then the ZX7R Owners. Those three have just a plethora of people on there who love the ZX7, love the ZX7 platform, love the history behind them, and they are more than willing to help you just about any problem you have on your ZX7. A lot of them are collectors, so they have other bikes as well. All right, sorry about that. The battery died on the GoPro. I'm not used to the not so long lasting GoPro batteries, but ZX7 group, plethora of people to help you out. Basically is all I was gonna say. If you have any questions, comment down below. I'll be more than happy to answer you. Obviously, I'm not some gigantic YouTuber, so usually anybody who comments, I see it immediately and I can reply pretty quickly. I'm not usually busy very often, even at work. I'm not even busy at work most of the time. But within an hour or so, I should be able to get back to you. So this is Sunset Sport Box, and I am signing out. Bye.